Welcome to the Crunch McDabbles Show. I'm your humble host, the legendary Crunch McDabbles. This is the only show that breaks down the Pathfinder 2nd Edition role-playing game into consumable packages of merchandise shipped directly to your door. Today's show, Armor Class. What is Armor Class? Armor Class is a special difficulty class which measures how hard it is for things to hit you with strikes and spell attacks and other attack actions. It answers the question, how well can you defend yourself? Well, how well can you defend yourself? Hopefully, we can fine-tune this up a little bit today and make you better at that. We are going to start by looking at Armor Class as part of this comparison between how well something attacks and how well something defends. This comparison tells us what each result on the D20 attack roll, what that's going to result in. For example, if something has a plus 10 to attack, and it attacks something with a 20 armor class, this tells us that a 10 on the dice is a hit, and then above a 10 is also a hit, and then a 20 is a critical hit, and then below 10, those are all misses and critical misses, which are the same thing with an attack roll, they're just misses. Then, as armor class goes up, you get harder to hit. It takes a higher and higher number on the die to hit you. This means as your armor class goes up, the average damage you take will go down, right? See the graph goes down in a straight line. That's what we want. But if you go the other way, as your armor class gets worse, or as the monster's attack ability gets better, and the now lower numbers on the dice hit you, now you will take more damage. But look at this. If you graph this out, the line is steeper down here because on this side of the dice, you start running into more critical hits because now they're also exceeding your armor class by 10. What this means is a point or two of armor class is worth even more down here because the line is steeper. Not only is armor class protecting you from hits, it's also protecting you from critical hits. And when you think about it, most monsters have a pretty high attack modifier, which means it is pretty likely you're on this side of the graph, and a point or two of armor class is going to help you that much more, move you down this steep part of the line. So let's break it down. Here is the overview of what goes into armor class according to the book. This is not good at all complicated. Let's break this thing down into its working parts. We've got 3 sections, right? 3 categories, each with 2 parts in it. We have proficiency, we have armor, and we have bonuses. These are the levers that we can manipulate and pull, and tweak a little bit to get a better armor class. Now, proficiency has 2 parts, your rank and your level. Your level is your level. There isn't much you can do about that, right? We'll get better, I guess, at higher level. And your rank is your rank. It's either 2, 4, 6, or 8. There isn't much you can do about that either because your rank is determined for the most part by your class. But let's look at these ranks anyways because they're interesting. The first is the worst. This is the caster section. They are trained for levels 1 to 12 and then expert for levels 13 to 20. And that's it. Pretty simple. Next is the why are you being mean to us section. These are the martial classes that aren't super interested in armor class. They have other things on their mind, like how to kill things. It's similar to the first group. The only difference is at level 19 and 20, they advance to master proficiency. Otherwise, it's the same. The next group is the takes armor pretty serious section. This group is like the group before it, but just a little better because they advance a little earlier. They advance to expert at level 11 and then master at level 17. Finally, there is the Armor Snob section. This is the Champion and the Monk, just 2 classes. These advance to Expert early on, the Champion at level 7, and the Monk actually starts at Expert at level 1, which you'd think would be better than it actually is to be Expert at level 1. But since they're unarmored, they don't end up much better than anyone else because of the dexterity and how that works. Anyways, at 13, when everybody else is getting Expert, these Armor Snobs move to Master. And then these are the only 2 classes that advance to Legendary Armor Proficiency at level 17. These classes are really good at armor class, but remember, there are only 2 classes in this category. So when you look at these side by side, you can see that until level 10, with the exception of these 2 armor snobs here, everybody's the same. For half of this game, just about all the classes have the same proficiency. And then up until level 17, that's 80% of the game. All the classes are within 2 of each other, even including the armor snobs. So it's not until level 17 that we have the first difference between any classes of 4. And that's only between the absolute best armor classes in the game compared to the absolute worst casters, right? For the most part, there is only a 2 difference between the majority of these classes, and that doesn't even show up until after level 10. The next section is armor. This is a combination of your armor's item bonus and your dexterity ability score up to the dex cap for the armor. So you can see with these values for the armor, there's an inverse relationship. As one goes up, the other goes down. So you can never have too much of both categories. The end result here is that there are only a couple different totals you can have in this section. You could either have a 4, you could have a 5, you could have a 6, or if you have less than 4, we're just going to call that horrible. So we'll say 4, 5, 6, or horrible, just 4 groups. If you are getting a 6 here, you're doing really good, right? You've maxed this section out. You can get a 6 from heavy armor because it provides superior protection. You can also get a 6 if you're unarmored and have a ridiculous 22 dexterity, but you couldn't get that until you were level 20 or level 18 or what have you with an Apex item. You can also get 6 from a Drakeheart mutagen, but that does come with a drawback. You could do that at level 1 though, so that is interesting. Also, an Animal Instinct Barbarian with the animal skin feat at level 13 increases to 6 as well. So there are ways to get to 6. I guess wearing heavy armor is probably the most straightforward. The next number you could have is 5. 5 is pretty darn good, and it pretty much covers every other type of armor besides heavy. Or if you're unarmored, you could get 5 as well, but you would need a 20 dexterity, which you aren't going to have until level 10 or level 15. You could also get 5 from some class feats like Scales of the Dragon, which you could get at level 4 from the Dragon Disciple archetype, or a Monk in Mountain Stance after they take the level 6 Mountain Stronghold feat, or an Animal Instinct Barbarian with the level 6 Animal Skin feat. So those are 5. The next number is 4. This is padded armor or unarmored with an 18 dexterity. Padded armor is like wearing a mattress around. It's not much armor and it's bulky. See that? Look on it. See, I knew it. It says Serta. It's a memory foam armor. It's like a sleep number armor. But yeah, with this stuff, your dex caps out at 3 because it's bulky, and it only gives you 1 point of item bonus. Not a good combination. You could also get 4 if you were unarmored with an 18 dexterity. I guess I just said that. That's not too hard to hit. You could get that at level, level 1 with some classes, or level 5 with a boost, or level 10 with 2 boosts, or any of these armors that need dexterity, right? If you combine that, you'd end up with 4 here. If you didn't have all the dexterity to max it out, maybe you end up with 4 that way. There is also Mountain Stance at level 1, which gives 4 points of item bonus from armor and 0 dexterity for 4 as well. That is until you get Mountain Stronghold at level 6. The last classification is everything less than 4, which I would call, it's pretty bad over here. If you are an unarmored caster and you didn't put points in dexterity, this is you. My advice, stay away from things that can hit you. Maybe don't even go adventuring. I guess that's a little harsh, but just be careful out there because things are going to hit you easily. This armor section is a great way to add a point or 2 of armor class right here. This is where we can tweak it, especially at lower levels like levels 1 to 10. After you get a couple ability boosts at level 5 and level 10 into your dex, it might be easier to wear that light armor. But up until then, if you can slide up this progression somehow, you'll help yourself out during those levels, which is as simple as getting a heavier armor proficiency with the general feat. Let's say you have a bard or an oracle. Both are trained in light armor. But let's say in your character build, you didn't have much points to put into dexterity. Maybe you wanted more strength. So yikes, even in studded leather, you're only getting a 3 in this armor section. That's a PUE. PUE. I don't know how to spell that. PUE. All you do is grab medium armor proficiency at level 3 with your general feat and slap on some chainmail, and you wear that until level 10. By then, you have had 2 boosts into your dexterity, so you can put back on that studded leather armor, and then you have the same armor class, just in time to advance to expert proficiency at level 13, and then you can retrain that armor proficiency into toughness or something better for you. Die hard. There are also archetypes you could slap on to get heavier armor proficiency: Champion, Sentinel, Swordmaster, Night Vigilant, maybe even a Rogue dedication to go from unarmored to light armor. It's a little more of an investment going this route with the class feats, but maybe this moves you up the armor scale a notch or 2 depending on your build. If it moves you up, it's going to be worth it. Bonus is, now we get to the nitty gritty. These are things that can help you out, and these are things that you can control as well. Runes. Technically, runes are a bonus. The thing of it is, Armor potency runes add a +1, +2, or +3 item bonus to your armor class. Technically, your armor bonus is an item bonus. And by adding these runes to your armor, as it says, you are increasing your armor's item bonus, not adding a separate bonus. So we'll keep this bonus over there in the armor section. It doesn't matter that much because the progression is exactly the same for everyone, more or less. It gets a little dicey with the unarmored people, but anyways, the bonus just comes at the level it's available, and whether you take the time and resources to add these runes to your armor. So there's no strategy there. The progression is +1 at level 5, +2 at level 11, and +3 at level 18. A circumstance bonus, on the other hand, is a way to improve your circumstances. Most of the time, this involves spending some kind of action to get the bonus, or an action to get into a stance. So there is some sort of trade-off here. Raising a shield is the most common example of a circumstance bonus that any class can do. Spend an action and get a quick +1 or +2 to your armor class. I like that. Other class-specific actions, maybe your class has one of these. Spend one action to gain a circumstance bonus, like raise a shield. You have Mountain Stronghold, the shield spell, twin parry, dueling parry. How about this one? It's a consumable. You could spend an action with the shield salve. It's a single action to use that gives you a +1 circumstance bonus. It's like raising a buckler. It does require 2 free hands to use, so I have no idea who could use this. A monk, I suppose. It's only for 1 round. That's an interesting one, though. I also like the Rogue's predictable feat at level 4 that makes you, you spend an action to roll a sense motive against a target's deception or other DC. That one's kind of interesting. I like that one. Then there are some stances that provide a circumstance bonus, which is nice because then you get the bonus that lasts and you get it for just 1 action. It's a set it and forget it. It's not an action each round. The crane stance, which you can get either as a monk or a martial artist, is a +1 circumstance bonus, but you have to be unarmored and you can only make crane wing attacks. So there you go. The staff acrobat, though, this archetype has the perfect circumstance bonus. It's a level 10 whirlwind stance. If you can find some way to fight with a staff or some sort of pole arm or something, this is perfect. It's a +2 circumstance bonus. It's like having a shield on raised all the time. I really like that one. It's not bad. There are some reactions that can give you a circumstance bonus. So a reaction, if you didn't have a good reaction to use, this saves you spending the action each round. Reactive shield is a reaction that raises your shield instead of using an action. Nimble dodge is the rogue or swashbuckler version of reactive shield without the shield, as you definitely dodge out of the way. The swashbuckler's guardian deflection. It's a really cool reaction for someone else, but there you go. Some other options. Finally, if you have nothing but actions to spare and you have enough bulk to carry around a tower shield, you can spend an action to raise the tower shield and then another action to take cover behind it each round. That's the granddaddy of circumstance bonuses. It's not going to be much for shield blocking, but if your goal is a really high armor class, it's going to give you a +4 circumstance bonus to your armor class, which is an enormous amount. The point of all this, let's break it down. Because of raising a shield, getting a circumstance bonus is probably the easiest boost to your armor class you can get. Any class can do it. Grab a shield, raise it up there. Status bonuses are surprisingly hard to get, and this might be the wild card if you can pull it off. Status bonuses are magical or otherworldly or exceptional or divine type of bonuses. The thing about all of these is there is always something about these that makes them not that good, right? It's not like Pathfinder 1 where you threw out an AC buff and it did what you wanted it to do for a decent amount of time and you were done with it. A lot of times these are short acting or oddly specific. For example, there are several 1-round status bonuses to AC for a single round. A Draconic Sorcerer, when they use blood magic, can give a +1 status bonus to themselves or a target for 1 round, so enjoy that long-lasting bonus. When the champion uses Lay on Hands on an ally, they get that ally a whopping +2 status bonus for round, which is an impressive bonus that they have that right at first level, but it's not going to work for themselves for one. And it's when they lay on hands, which on someone else, which isn't that often. A lot of times they're going to use it on themselves anyways. So it's not going to be that many rounds of combat, but a round or 2 or 3 of combat. There you go. At level 10, the cleric gets Shield of Faith. It's not a spell anymore. Whenever they cast a focus spell, now they get a +1 status bonus for round. I like that one because it's not a meta magic. It just comes on automatically whenever you cast a focus spell. No, there's no extra action. The cleric also has a defensive recovery metamagic feat at level 12. It's an extra action to cast, but it's on your heal or harm spells, which you're going to have plenty of those kind of spells because of your divine font. This gives the target a +2 status bonus to armor class for the round on top of the healing. Isn't that great? So the cleric could keep boosting the tank with the heal each round, giving them hit points back and giving them a +2 armor class in the process, and then be healing someone else with their advanced communal healing. It's crazy. The cleric is pretty awesome. Now, those are the single rounds. Then you have the sustained option. So this is an action each round, right? These last longer, but they require actions to keep them out there. An Abjuration Wizard can cast a Protective Ward focus spell. It's a great spell. Sustaining it keeps popping it out another 5 feet to cover more people in an emanation. So that's good. Forbidding Ward is actually a really nice cantrip on the Divine or Occult spell list. It is only for one ally and one enemy. So again, you have to cast this on someone else, and you have to keep sustaining it. But it's a +1 status bonus as a cantrip. And at level 11, you can even heighten it to 6th level for a +2 bonus, which is really nice. This is not a bad cantrip. The Witch cantrip, Blood Ward, is a witch cantrip, obviously, just said that. It's only against a specific group of monsters that you designate when you cast a spell, but there's plenty of groups to choose from, so you could probably find something. It's okay. It heightens to +2 at level 9, which is even quicker than the Forbidden Ward cantrip. But you can see all these are they always have something that makes them tricky. And finally, the Bard is still the king of buff. At level 4, they grab the Inspire Defense cantrip, and for a single action each round in a 60-foot burst, they give everyone a +1 bonus to AC and saves. And with Inspire Heroics, this could boost up to a +3 bonus. And the final section of buff to armor class that you actually set it and forget it, there is only one that I could find, the Protection spell, or the Circle of Protection to a 3rd level version. It's a 1st level spell on the Divine and Occult spell list. You can cast it on yourself or on someone else, so that's nice. It's not too hard to get a 1st level spell-like ability through your ancestry or some other way. You could use scrolls. The drawback is it's only against opposing alignment bad guys, so it's not going to work against neutral wolves and stuff like that. But still, here is a chance. If you can't get anything else, maybe get some scrolls with this and trick magic item. Because once you cast it, you've got that +1 buff out there for the duration, and you can go about your business killing monsters. So, conclusion, if you put this all together, maybe you get a point or two in the armor section. Maybe you start carrying a shield and spending an action some rounds to raise it. And maybe you get a protection spell cast on yourself. Look at that. You're looking at a 4 or 5 point swing in an armor class. So how do you like that? That's pretty good. All right, let's spend a minute messing with these levers. What's the worst armor class we can get? A wizard at any level, or any of these casters that are only trained in unarmored armor. If they have an 8 dexterity and they put on some padded armor, boom, they're untrained with light armor. So if you're untrained, your proficiency bonus is +0. No level, no rank, no nothing in there. Then padded gives them an item bonus of 1. And with that -1 dexterity, then you have a 0 in that section as well. If you have no other buffs going on, your armor class is going to be 10. So if you can trick an enemy caster into putting on some padded armor, they're going to be screwed up. Pardon my language there, but look at how much their armor class would drop. If they were a level 20 caster wearing no armor and all of a sudden wearing padded armor, it would be a big drop off. That's pretty funny. Best armor class, let's do a level 20 champion. You could do a monk too, I guess. That gives legendary proficiency, wearing some nice plate mail, all shiny. Don't worry about your dexterity there. They got 6 + 3 runes for 9 in the item and dex section. Then add some buffs, raising a tower shield and taking cover for +4 circumstance bonus. That's ripe. It took 2 actions. That's a lot of actions, but it's a nice bonus. Then if a bard buffs them and the bard crits, they could get that +3 status bony. That would give them 20 + 8 + 10 + 9 + 4 + 3. I think that's 54 if I did the math right. If they had to buff themselves and they figured out the protection spell, somehow if they grabbed that through their ancestry, they could get themselves to 52, which is not bad. That jaw attack from a pit fiend they'd be squaring off again at level 20, that's only +40, so they would need a 12 or better to nab them with that nip. And the pit fiend also has a 46 armor class, so that's good. And that is it. That is the basics of what goes into your armor class. I've been your host, Crunch McDabbles. This has been the Crunch McDabbles Show. Survive Galarian with a tune-up to your armor class. The staff acrobat. The staff acrobat, though. Okay, there. I'm going to have you just getting the green screen ready there. So just reach out there, put a lay on hands on her just to try it out. Make sure. What the heck was that? Finger of Death? I didn't even know you knew that spell. It's not even a real cleric. That's an actress we hired. I think you killed her, dude.